And the first pick is Greece. So we start off on a rather simple map, the longest map in the map pack. And then there's Brazil as map number 2.
Not a surprise. Absolutely.
USA.
Yeah, Brazil is absolutely not a surprise here for VPxNeon. Probably one of their best maps. Following it up with USA is nice as well. China is going to be an exciting 4th map if we get there. France as a decider is always a toss-up. You know, maybe just before we get into the match, now might be a good time. I don't know if we had them up already to take a quick peek at the standings.
Yeah, let's take a look onto the standings here real quick whilst we add it. As we can see here, we have 3 teams that are 8-1. So also giving you an outlook into the playoffs. This will be so good to see Pack B, Big, and All Gamers Global fighting it out there. And then there's one more spot up for grabs that will be decided today. After those 2 matches, it's so cool to see that 4th to 7th place will just play against each other. So Orgless, well, they will definitely not make it. So even if VPxNeon lose their match, well, Orgless has still -2, and VPxNeon has at worst -1 map win-loss ratio. So they're out of the equation, but the other 3 teams are still in the running.
Yeah, so basically it's just, does Orgless want to ruin VPxNeon's run into the playoffs or not? VPxNeon has got all of the pressure on them. They have to win if they want to make it to the playoffs. However, the good thing is, I believe that if they win this, they're basically guaranteed to get the playoffs. So it really, especially that Cook and Genji Weibo game, will really only matter if VPxNeon loses now.
Yeah.
So this is the game of the day.
Yeah, it is. I mean, the other game could be the game of the day, but for that, this one has to work out. That is for sure. But here we go into the first map. It is Greece. And let's take a look onto the respective, just times and stats here on Greece. Paco and Stifts, quite fast on this map. I mean, they have good best and median pace on this map, but I would say it's quite evenly distributed. But Neon is maybe the bit of the outlier here, with his median being not so good, 114.269, and also 50% last finish rate. So this is probably a pick that VPxNeon wanted to deny or just not see. But Neon, I mean, in the warm-up, it doesn't look so bad. So I hope that he can hold it together there as well in the live rounds. Of course, a sample size of 26 rounds is not too much, but Paco, the fastest, Neon by far the slowest in this lobby here, 44th from all the players that have played this map in the league. And here we go into the first round. Already from the get-go, Neon didn't get a good start.
Yeah, to be fair, Greece, of course, a map that heavily favors consistency over everything else, so it's not really surprising to see Neon lag behind there a little bit. Of course, pure pace, something like, to be fair, Brazil is also a consistency-heavy map, yet Neon is absolutely amazing on there. We see the first mistake coming out from Stufts there as he goes too tight. Is going to be clipping the penalty grass big time, falling all the way behind. We now see Neon overtake up into second, so currently Sandwich and Letzter has to try and defend this a little bit to not open this up on the back foot here for Orgless and keep an early draw going.
Yeah, early drop here indeed. Struft's having to respawn even one more time. He's 5 seconds behind, but this gives VPxNeon the opportunity to overtake Letzer here. But he's quite far ahead, 0.15 of a second. But again, the ending is so punishing to do. But Letzer gets it so nicely here. The German played for a big beforehand for the big selector lineup. I mean, great performance at Comic-Con Baltics, but here he's dropping like a fly. And Neon, 50% last places, wins the round, and this is a very, very punishing and costly mistake for Orgless. VPxNeon with a dream start.
Letzer was so close to getting it on quite literally the last little jump transition that he gets a clip and he gets passed by both the VPxNeon players that are able to now open up map number 1 pick by Orgless with an ace, putting them at a 3-point lead immediately. Of course, this is exactly what they want to do right now. They need to win this match, and if they can get their opponent's pick, that would be the optimal setup to get that thing going. But we're of course very, very early in this match, just 1 round passed so far, and Stufts is going to be the one to make the next big mistake here again, falling all the way behind. So we're just seeing sort of a mirror of that last match with Letzter once again having to try and defend at the front.
Yeah, he definitely has to do that because Stufts once again is falling behind, but look how much Letzter is pushing here. Into the lead he goes, but this is still a dream spot for VPxNeon, but we see 2 mistakes there. And also on my end, my game was a bit lagging. I'm not sure if it was also for you, but my game definitely had a lag spike there as Letzter still holds on to that first position. That was not the best of approaches, but it is Neon and Paco still on second and third position, trailing behind Letzter, who barely survived the ending, and it will be a draw at the end.
Wow, but another great time. 113.5 here. It's not the best we've seen, but it is very, very nice. Neon is looking a bit more consistent than we're used to, but to be fair, it's very early in this round. I think the biggest issue is the further we get into a match, the more we might start seeing him fall behind a little bit. But for now, this is going exactly as VPxNeon would love it to go. They're keeping their 3-point lead with a draw going the way of well, either teams, I guess. And yeah, Orgless now has to try and start making a push for the front, try and get back up. This is their map pick. They would, of course, like to win it. However, we're seeing this round is Neon in the front, Stufts and Letzter both falling suit. Neon is going to be clipping that landing, and all of a sudden, Orgless finding themselves in ace formation here, halfway roundabout through the map, trying to potentially catch up with the points this round.
This would be absolutely incredible for them if they get first and second in this round, but for that they have to do the ending as well. But Paco, I mean, he's looking so strong on this map, 8th fastest player on this map, but he doesn't really commit to the outside line there and had to readjust just a little bit, and also touches there, so Neon will overtake, but Stufts is slow as well, so Paco can even capitalize on that. Neon goes into second position temporarily, and also Paco overtakes. It will be a permanent second, and it will be another draw. VPxNeon again capitalizing from 2 individual mistakes, and it is Stufts who is dropping like a fly again. Not a good performance from the young Dutchman here, who took an extensive break from Trackmania. I think he even played something like Fortnite, but the chat can tell me more about that. But I mean, very, very skilled player. Also a great performance, or like just solid performance in the last couple of weeks from him. And we go into round number 4 now, as VPxNeon is still leading with 3 points, and Stufts again with a sloppy start. He makes a mistake there, had to readjust, and he's out of the conversation, but Neon also loses the gear.
Yeah, so far it's kind of been Orgless looking solid, and then halfway to the end and through the end of the map, there's been a mistake, mostly from Stufts so far. Letzter just put in a 113.29, which is a very, very nice time as well. So it's really come down kind of to who makes the big mistakes in this match so far. This time, it seems like Letzter is going to be trying to lock down that first place position, and with that respawn from Neon, this might be finally a chance for Orgless to grab some of those important points and catch up to that 3-point lead as soon as possible. It's going to come down to the identity. Letzter has been a little bit hit or miss so far, but if you can just keep up this lead, then it's at least going to be a win, and if Paco makes a mistake, it's going to be an ace, and it seems like Letzter's just going to be keeping the pace here. It's a victory going the way of Orgless, and they're gonna be finally catching up a little bit on the points side here, putting themselves on 4 points, 2 points still behind VPxNeon, who are gonna be sitting at 6 points in a moment here. But you know, at the very least, 6 points is still a point off of that first track point. So Orgless is not gonna be going into this with too much pressure, and you know, if they could somehow pull off an ace, they would be putting themselves at track point.
Yeah, that would be absolutely incredible if Orgless can now get the ace across. But this is really something that they need to, like, I mean, Orgless, they need to get that, but VPxNeon, I mean, beating a 0.3 that Letzter set in the round beforehand is an absolute incredible time. So very, very good time there from the German driver, and Neon. He's pushing so much. Like, I don't know what he's doing, but he got away with it. Ain't keep getting away with it, but he actually gets it. So very, very incredible line from him as we have a close round. You look at that, only 0.1 of a second between the players, and Letzter and Stufts are indeed in first and second.
So if they can make this one count, they could be finding themselves back up in the lead, but Stufz is going to be going a little bit too wide. They're on that very, very fast tech drift, and that's going to be netting him 4th place position for now, but we still got the identity coming up, and Letzter is keeping 1st place in, and Stufz is definitely not out of the races here, all for the entire pack. Very close, Letzter with a mistake. All of a sudden, it's going to be Neon and Paco in a 1-2 position here, and it seems like it's going to be close, and they're going to be taking home another ace here, putting themselves at 9 points. Look at that, 0.04 of a second between Paco and Stufz. It was so close, but it's now gone from, not that good for Orgless, but still doable, to very, very bad for them. They cannot be dropping a single point. They have to ace here twice in a row.
This is really the dream spot for VPxNeon here, because if they win this match, well, the other match doesn't really matter too much. I mean, for 5th or 6th position in that way, but VPxNeon, that's a dream start for them, and Neon didn't look good on this map, and it's only 1 2nd place that they need to take home this map win. And I mean, it's not their pick, so this will be a very, very easy upset here in this very first match of the day. And also Letzter already half a second behind, so he will not play a role here. And well, I mean, he needs to rely on 2 mistakes, and also Neon swarming out into the lead. Stufz still getting away with it, but Tobler, I think that this is over.
Yeah, I think this first map pick for Orgless has just not really gone their way. VPxNeon, and with that mistake and crash from Letzter, I think that seals the deal ultimately. But yeah, I mean, VPxNeon was just looking very, very consistent. They were able to, they're going to be finishing it out with another ace, by the way. They were able to capitalize on the mistakes coming out of the side of Orgless over and over and over again. And all of a sudden, it's just 4-12, and VPxNeon has taken the first map pick away from Orgless. And now we're going to be heading on to Brazil here in a moment. And, well, I really don't see many teams competing with VPxNeon on Brazil. I mean, I believe they've beaten All Gamers on this map back when All Gamers was still in 1st place position. Quote me if I'm wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong. Which I believe back then was their first ever map loss entirely. And so this really is one of their best maps, and I don't really see Orgless doing anything about that.
Neon has the first or the fastest and 2nd fastest time on this map, but it is Paco who's actually the faster player from both of them when it comes to just consistency, like a score of 95%, and then there's Neon with like a score of 74%, but the pace is at 94%. So this is really something. So Neon, the glass cannon, having 8% DNFs on this map as well. But if he's on a round, well, he's fast. And yeah, beating them here is quite the task. But I think Stufz and Letzter can definitely make some damage on this map. But against Paco's consistent playstyle and then the fast aspect from Neon in almost every round as well, Tobler, this will be very, very hard.
Yeah, I mean, it's really gonna just be Paco's just gonna be driving his game, and then Neon is just gonna be sending it. And when Neon actually makes those times count, I think we're just gonna see victories and aces just come out absolutely naturally with no problem. So Paco's just gonna be playing his game, and Orgless, they're gonna be having to push every single turn of the way and hope everything goes well. And you know, if it does, then maybe they have a chance. But if VPxNeon just plays their game, I think they're gonna be looking very, very clean here, and we're gonna see just how clean they can look heading into round number 1 here. It's gonna be Stufz falling a little bit behind as Neon is gonna be taking the lead. Paco all the way in 4th place position right now, but definitely not out of the races. The first water section is coming in. Neon a little bit shaky, and I think it's going to be well,
yeah, Stufz and Paco both sliding out there, so it is actually not a good line there from both of them. But also Letzter and Neon fighting it out now for dear life. But it looked so worse here for VPxNeon on this particular round. But they're still fighting themselves back as Paco gets a poor gear in this particular turn. And it is Stufz approaching very wide there. So Paco temporarily goes into 3rd position, but Stufz is nowhere to be seen. Who's going to get 1st position? Paco with a mistake. Neon versus Letzter here, but Paco, how did he save that? How... Oh, well, what? What was that barrel? What was that barrel roll? Have you seen? Was that on camera? What just happened?
a very tense fight at the front and
What?
absolute clown fiesta at the back.
But the barrel roll, that was crazy. Like he landed on his wheels again.
I
What
saw
happened?
that. That was absolute business in the front, party in the back right there. As we're gonna be opening up the first round of Brazil with a very, very tight little draw. And yeah, VPxNeon is just gonna have to take a step back and think like, okay, like we can't be trying to play Star Fox here, do a barrel roll style, and we're just gonna actually have to focus and not drop that time. But it's just drawn up, and they're one map. This is one of their best maps. Paco gets a no slide. Neon's gonna be on the defense.
Yeah, that is very unfortunate there for Paco getting that no set. I was claiming that he was the most consistent player from his team, well, but now he's out. And what is happening here? Just like really the tides is shifting on both of the map picks here. Orgless now looking to get that ace. Neon not completely out of this one, but Stuft certainly is. And this was the opportunity that Orgless should definitely use, because like that you just throw away like just an ace. Like it's a draw instead. It could have been a 3-point difference, but it's 2-2. How did VPxNeon not get punished by anything of that?
Yeah, I mean, it's been incredible. Stuft so far, a little bit of an anchor for his team. Letzter has been playing an absolutely amazing game so far. Both VPxNeon players just not quite in their groove on this map yet. So maybe they're just gonna need a little bit of time, a few more rounds before they are fully back into the right mindset here. This round might finally be the one to do it. Neon is finding himself in the lead, followed around about 0.1 by Stuft's, catching up though. Paco in third place position, Letzter the only one lagging behind, so Stuft has to finally get a good time going there for his team, for Orgless. And with that big mistake from Neon, crashing the inside, bouncing all the way to the outside, all of a sudden the script is flipped. It is Orgless in the attack.
Yeah, Orgless definitely in the attack, but can they use it this time? And again, an unusual mistake from Stuft. They're hitting one of those gates. Already hit a gate beforehand in that round, and it looks to be like another draw here, because Letzter is nowhere close to Paco, who drives a 0.4 here. Not the fastest time that we have seen as well. But Neon and Paco, they need to work on their consistency game. So this is very, very unfortunate here, as Neon just cruises through the water, tries to control his car, but you can see how hard it is. But hey, he at least finished the round, so that's cool to see, as we now have another draw, the third draw in a row. Who's gonna just make it across here and not gonna get a draw? I think VPxNeon, they have so much more pace, but they need to get it through. They need to find a consistent way of finishing in the top 3.
Yeah, I mean, I know that their pace is absolutely amazing, but they just have not quite been able to put down what they've shown they can do. But I think it goes both ways here. Orgless, and especially I think from Stuft's side, is just not there on the consistency that they would be looking for here on this match. And so we've just kind of seen them trade mistakes and thus trade draws. This round is finding ourselves in a very, very similar position. Once again, we're in a draw formation here with Stuft up in the lead and Letzter all the way in 4th place position. So Neon and Paco still got everything to play for, and it's going to be coming down to this final identity here. See if there's going to be any overtakes. Stuft still in the lead. Neon is trying to overtake Paco there as well. Stuft is going a little bit too slowly there, and Neon all the way up in the lead. Paco's trying to snipe, and he's going to be falling all the way to 4th place position. It's another draw on a 104.1.
But still a good round. Paco with a slight mistake there in the ending doesn't get third or maybe even second position. I mean, he was pushing quite a bit, but he stayed alive, and it was only 0.3 between the players there in the end. So it's 4-4 here between VPxNeon and Orgless. And keep in mind, this is VPxNeon's pick, and you were rightfully saying it. I really think that they have won one of the few maps that Pac B has actually lost. They have lost 3 maps. So Neon and Paco, they know what to do on this map, but right now the performance is not really aligning with the expectations that we have. Again, Neon completely dead here, like just flying into the gate, doesn't like get into the map at all, having to respawn, and let's send Stuft with a huge opportunity to get that ace here.
Yeah, and it seems like they're in good pace as well. 0.5, it could be faster, but still a very, very nice ace formation for them. Paco, the only one in striking range, but not quite as close as he would like to, so he's gonna be hoping to for some mistakes in the identity, and it's going to come out from Stufts, who's gonna be crashing the gate here. So it might just be a victory. Never mind. Stufts is gonna mess up the last turn. Neon is gonna be finishing in third. Groundhog Day repeats itself. 5-5. We're just drawing everywhere. Bring me the colored pencils. I need to draw.
Yeah, you need to draw every color here that is up for grabs, but I mean, just don't go too far because the score is 5-5, right? Everybody is still getting something from the cake. Both teams are halfway through here, and it could be over very soon because one ace, which I don't think will happen. I think we're gonna see another draw here. Like, just teams are just aligning perfectly. You know, it doesn't matter how the round plays. Well, they just need to make sure to follow the script. Oh, but Stufts with a mistake. So Paco and Neon with a very good opportunity here because only Letzter's there, and Letzter needs to get that first position. But look how far away he is. But we all know how this round is gonna end.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen this before, where it's like, oh, surely this time someone's gonna be taking the lead, but then something happens, the star aligns, a single neutron flips a bit in their PC, and all of a sudden they're in second and third place position. But I think this round might finally be the one to break the curse. VPxNeon in a 1-2 formation, and Letzter actually somehow hits the finish. 104.1. How did Letzter get that finish?
How did he finish?
What?
What is happening? What is happening in this match? Like this barrel roll, those mistakes from Stufts, Letzter's finish. What comes next?
Like, I mean, we just saw an
ace on this map.
What?
Who knows?
Yeah, well, VPxNeon gets the ace they've been looking for, but I'm still a little bit stumped about how Letzter somehow finished that.
Yeah, this probably was the highlight of the match, actually. But no, jokes aside, let's see if VPxNeon can close it out after a sloppy start here into this map. I mean, it was just draws, just gifted to them as a present, but now Orgless having the pace in this particular round. Paco made a mistake. Neon is on the hunt here, but Stufts and Letzter with a comfortable lead of 0.2 of a second, and also Neon not with the best of drifts, having a good setup here. But it still comes all down to the ending, but Letzter doesn't want to get the ace. He drops all the way down to last, so this is huge for VPxNeon. And again, Orgless with those mistakes.
Yeah, I mean, they were really hoping for that counter ace, and they were in formation to actually do it. And oh, Neon has to respawn.
Yeah.
So if Paco makes a mistake, the chances are still very much in, but I don't see Paco making that mistake. It's still going to be a victory going the way of Orgless here with that big mistake from Neon. So they're going to be closing the scoreline a little bit, but VPxNeon is going to be at 9 whole points. So this is most certainly going to be our last round on this map, in particular, track point for both teams. Orgless has to ace, VPxNeon just has to get someone into second place, and then they're going to be all done. Orgless now finally forced into a counter ace.
Yeah, it will be the last round, though, 7-9. That is for sure. But track point versus track point, important for Orgless to get that ace. But I think with that, this round is over, and this map is over as well. VPxNeon will go into the lead 2-0 here. They win their first pick and also their opponent's first pick. Definitely something that I did not, or that we did not expect. But also Neon's and Paco's performance on this map, it wasn't that good. Like, they have made a lot of mistakes, and we praised the consistency from Paco and the pace from Neon. We could see neither of that on this match.
Yeah, but I think, you know, it's kind of mirrored by Orgless as well, with big mistakes, especially in critical rounds, coming in very, very regularly. And that's just been costing them points big time. That ace was basically, oh, where's everyone going? All right, well, you know, I was about to say, like, they're costing them big time, but, you know, on the other hand, VPxNeon also making those same kinds of mistakes. This time it's enough. Neon finishes in first with a 104.1, which is a pretty good time. 8-11, second match point for VPxNeon, and they are going to be looking to potentially close it out on USA.
Yeah, USA as the maybe decider. I mean, I would love to see more maps, of course. That would be great to see. But let's take a look here, because Stufts having the fastest time on this particular map, a 102.432, set just 3 weeks ago. as we can also see the highlights here. But Stufts with an absolute banger of a time just from that. I mean, the world record, I think that was just... I'm not sure what the world record time is being summed by, but Stufts certainly has a faster time. Maybe that was during another tournament, who knows. But he is not... Yeah, I mean, he has good pace, but his consistency is at 57%. Oi. This is very far down in the mix.
Yeah, to be fair, I think this match has so far shown that consistency ratings are absolutely mean nothing. Both of these teams are not quite playing up to their game. Now, looking at their finishing times and the pace on those finishing times, you can see that they're definitely fast, but it seems like they're not quite getting those times as regularly as they would like to. VPxNeon has a chance to close this one out here immediately and guarantee their spots in the playoffs. Orgless, they have not really found any sort of points so far in this match, and they need to finally change that up. This is, of course, VPxNeon's second map pick, so it is not going to be optimal for Orgless, but USA, I feel, is a map that is definitely less prone to mistakes. And, well, this first round is just gonna about show us what we can expect. Let's head right into it and see what we get.
Yeah, let's go into the first round here. Of course, keep in mind, Orgless, they need to win 3 consecutive maps in a row. And maybe it will be a bit easier now because they have Brazil out of the way. But already from the get-go, we see Letsta with a mistake and also Stufts. That is not the start that you want if you need to win 3 maps in a row. I mean, of course, still aces can come into play, but we talked about it beforehand already. Stufts with a median time of a 1:03.271, and then also Letsta with a 0.299. The time from Neon, the median, is also not too good as well. I mean, it's a 3:01, but he usually gets like just a bit more consistency into the way and doesn't fall fully behind. So you can see it here as well. He saves it a bit and he gets away with it, and that is the ace for VPxNeon effortlessly.
102.7 as well coming out from Paco. So a pretty good time there to open up this first round, opening it up with an ace, 3 points. You know, they're already 2 maps up, might as well close it out as fast as possible. They want to just guarantee their spot, it seems, and Orgless is just kind of letting them do this. And so, yeah, I think this is basically all showed unless Orgless, looks into their backpacks and somehow finds the pace in there to turn this match around and turn it around big time. Unless they're able to do it, it's just not gonna be likely that anyone else but VPxNeon takes that playoff spot. Neon, with a mistake, now putting the Orgless players in an ace formation for a potential counter ace.
Yeah, VPxNeon pulling an Orgless from the previous round here, one could say, but there is the double red shell pull for Pusti to Paco. 2 mistakes, and he moves up into first position. Also, Neon up to 3rd, so that's the dream spot for the red team because Stufts is so far behind. And again, Tobler, the opportunities were just not used that they have just got that presented themselves on this map and also in this particular match. Neon with 10 million respawns, but it could have been much more. 4-1 is still not too bad. It could have been 5-1, but Neon struggling with the ending here, so that's unfortunate.
Yeah. So you mentioned the double red shells, and I have to use my very obscure knowledge about competitive Mario Kart here. You can now
pull
you can now pull triple red shells in 3rd in Mario Kart World, and it is the most annoying thing ever.
You can?
Yes, you can. It is so stupid. Well, regardless of that, we're gonna be heading into the next round. VPxNeon is keeping their 3-point lead right now, 2 aces away from closing out the match, but I don't assume we're gonna be seeing 2 aces in a row. Instead, I think we're gonna just see them keep their lead. Orgless is very desperate to get a counter ace going as soon as possible. They want a single map to happen somehow, somewhere, and it's just not been their game. And even if they win this, they're still gonna have to go to China, which was their pick, but still, that is a tough map. Stufts with a mistake, Paco with a mistake, everyone's crashing the wall. Letster's in the lead, Neon is in 2nd place.
Yeah, Neon in 2nd here, getting an okay line here, but he needs to survive. But what about pulling, like, oh my, Well, let's. There was a banana from the previous red lap, actually. So that was a very, very nicely placed banana there, and Neon wins the rounds here. But it's still second and third for Orgless. But what is the chance, like if you go through a double item box, to pull single red shell, single red shell? Is that a possibility, or can you only have one red shell at a time?
I don't know. I don't think you can pull double red shells from a double item box. But I would have to check. I think it's more likely you pull a mushroom then. And, I think that's what Orgless needs right now. A few mushrooms to push up ahead, take some shortcuts, whatever you can do. Because right now, VPxNeon is just running away with this win. And if this keeps going, they're going to be having to try and pull the shock. I had to keep
the shock references. Or how's the guy that flies, like where you can dodge like that? You get on 12th position.
God, you mean Kamek? No.
Yeah, the cannon guy, like where you just fly.
Oh, Bullet Bill.
But Bullet Bill, exactly. They need that just before the finish line, right? But look at this round here. I mean, holy, this is crazy. But
everyone crashes. I talked about the shock happening, but it seems like VPxNeon pulled it, and they're gonna be finishing in a 1-2.
What is this match?
Ace. What is this?
Like, the moment we talk about this match, also Neon got stuck before the finish, by the way. How is this an ace? This cannot be.
Party in the front and party in the back right now. We're seeing something miraculous unfold where both teams have sort of lost the plot and kind of forgotten what they want to do. VPxNeon is definitely a little more locked in, but I feel like Orgless, they've just given up on all their hopes and dreams this match, and they're just going to be taking it into Split 2.
Yeah, I think so as well here. I mean, still an okay showing for them. Maybe not in this match. There was much more possible. I think map 1 looked great, but then everything fell apart with that ace there. Of course, the map 2, there were a lot of opportunities that they could have used, and then here, well, I mean, it was complete carnage all along, and I mean, the last round really just described it the best. And VPxNeon maybe also being a bit more lucky in this kind of way. That's also what you kind of need. But now let's see what Stufts can do here. Neon with a very aggressive line will get demoted to P4, but who's going to win this round? Stufts versus Paco, and Paco having it very good, but having to oversteer, and Stufts overtakes. It's 4-9 VPxNeon. They need a back-to-back ace here.
Yeah, last round we were on a 7-9 scoreline, now we're on a 4-9, so it's one round worse than last round. Orgless have to get a back-to-back ace, or VPxNeon is just gonna win 3-0. I don't really see that happening. Stufts is also not sure if he wants to see that happening, as he's checking out what he can find at the rear of the pack, where he's gonna be not even have enough speed to make the transition or the half-pipe jump, so I think this is done and dusted, and, pack it up, take it into next split here. VPxNeon is basically guaranteed their spot in the Division 1 playoffs. We're going to be facing against Pack B, Big, and All Gamers to try and get out some extra spots, potentially. And Orgless is gonna be out of the races. They're gonna have to take the break to gather their thoughts and then get it back in Split 2.
Yeah, they would just constantly sit there for the next 2 months and just thinking about it. That's all that they're gonna do. Like, no Trackmania, only thinking about this performance. But no, jokes aside, still okay performance on this match, but definitely more possible for Orgless, the likes of Let's and Stufts. But maybe they also knew that they don't really have to play for, like, they cannot reach the playoffs. I mean, 3-6 in the end, that is definitely not a bad result. Still in front of Foot, still in front of Navi and Soul Esports, so that is not bad, but still sitting somewhere in the 7th position. Definitely more possible for them, but someone has to take that. And against teams like that, against Paco and Neon, well, it is hard to also get yourself a map win. But I didn't expect a 3-0 in this match. That is for me a bit upsetting. That's what I really want to say. But Orgless, I think they can bounce back in the next match or in the next split. And I hope that they're going to be better than.
But for now, congratulations on securing the playoff spot to VPxNeon. The Cook versus Genji Weibo match is just going to be a formality now to decide whoever is going to get 5th place position. But it's still going to be an exciting match. Lingo and Scrappy versus Vosal and Heave is always going to be pretty exciting to see. But yeah, the positions are not going to be switching. Orgless loses another round for the total scoreline of 3-6. VPxNeon wins, 5 wins to 4 losses, and thus secure their spot in the playoffs. And I just want to point out again, that top 3 Pack B, big all gamers, 8 wins, 1 loss, all 3 of them. That playoff is going to be incredibly exciting. I think they've all just lost to each other, and you really don't want to miss it. It's coming the end of May, and we're gonna announce when exactly it's gonna happen. I think it's already mostly planned out, at least date wise, and I hope that you guys are gonna be there. But yeah, this match is done. We have another match coming up, so you don't want to miss that.
Yeah, we can go on a break, I guess, Lori.
Yeah.